Novak Djokovic is through to the third round at the 2024 Australian Open, but both matches have been a little bit too interesting than I think Novak would want them to be. First round against Dino Prizmic, that was a four-setter. It took 4 hours. Second match against Alexei Popyrin. Popyrin had 4 set points in the third set to go up 2-1. So I come to you to answer the question, is something wrong with Novak Djokovic right now? The answer is a little bit, yeah, because we come into the tournament concerned about the wrist. We come into the tournament coming off of a loss to Alex de Minaur where the forehand just wasn't good enough to beat a top player like Alex. And I think the problem is right now, or the most concerning thing is for Novak, is if you look at the 2 sets that he's lost in the tournament thus far, it's been the same thing. The forehand has gone haywire. The forehand got erratic, which is very un-Novak Djokovic-like. Probably the most consistent forehand in the entire sport. Not counting players who push and don't try to be aggressive with it. Not only has he had those patches or those sets where the forehand has made a lot of errors, I also think offensively, it just hasn't been what you'd want it to be. He's just laying off a lot of balls that he would normally crush. I don't think that he's been super defensive, but I do think that when he has an opportunity to really go after the forehand, instead of taking full control with deadly, punishing, damaging forehands, I feel that he's lost 10% of the pace, and in some cases, even the precision that he would normally want on his forehand. So instead of taking full control of the point, or in some cases, just finishing the point with a flat-out forehand winner, I feel he's kind of giving his opponents opportunities to get back into points because he just hasn't been as potent with his forehand. So with the wrist thing coming in, and with that being the main problem through 2 matches, I would say, yeah, right now there is something slightly wrong with Djokovic, which is I didn't fully expect because he had so long to recover from the injury, and then he came into the tournament saying there is no right wrist pain. But I guess what you have to keep in mind is 2 things. One, did he lose the mojo on the forehand because he was focusing on recovering with the wrist and he wasn't hitting as many forehands, or at least when he was hitting forehands, he was not really practicing at 100% pace, making sure the wrist heals. And as a result, you lose the repetitions on your forehand. And then when you try to ramp it back up, it's not as easy to do that. I think that's very possible, right? You would assume, and even watching some of the practice footage, it seemed like Djokovic was taking it easy with his forehand. So if you take it easy for a week, now you go into the matches and you try to flip that switch on where you're not taking it easy anymore. Well, that's not so easy, right? I should mention, seems like he's also battling some sickness, blowing his nose, got a tissue in the pocket. I don't have anything to add or say about that, but I just think I should mention it in this conversation. So what does it mean right now? Well, the reality is the last 2 times Novak Djokovic has won this tournament, if you ask me at this stage after his second round match, is something wrong with Novak Djokovic? The answer would have been yes. Yes, something is wrong. 2021, you would have said he can't really serve. And the running forehand is not comfortable at all because there's clearly something wrong with his oblique. And then last year, you would have said, well, he's not moving well because there's a hamstring issue. So I can't rank the severity of the 3. I'm not going to do that. But in both cases, the key to Novak Djokovic winning the Australian Open is they got better. And this is no different. Can Novak win the Australian Open if his forehand doesn't start looking a lot better than it has in the first 2 rounds? No, he can't win the Australian Open with a forehand like this. It does have to get better. History tells us it will. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.